mother of 3, survivor, and a voice for those who've been silenced. This podcast is my fight to launch truth. Back at a system that broke me. Every survivor listening, you are not alone. I'm Amato Manelick. Welcome to the trebuchet.
Hey there, welcome to the trebuchet. I'm your host, Amato Manelick. This is season 2, where we are digging into DOJ whistleblowing and family court reform. So I'm here with Francesca Amato. She is the founder of Punished for Protecting, now known as...
Well, it's always been Punished for Protecting, Inc.
Inc.
But it's no longer a 501c4.
Right, because you went to jail for tax fraud.
Because I went to jail for tax fraud. I have millions upon millions and millions and millions upon millions of dollars because I have an arm. It's called Stretch Armstrong. And it reaches all the way across the country and pulls money right out of people's pockets. It's great. Yeah.
You stole it from all of the people across the country.
I stole so much money, I just think that. Yeah. Even though you see me every day public and all the time, I was in jail the whole time. Well, while I was in the world, I'm really that amazing. I really am. I impressed myself. Yeah.
Okay, so you were in jail for tax fraud.
Yeah, prison.
But on a 1098.
Prison, I did hard time. Yeah.
On a 1098.
1098.
You filed your 1098, now you're 1099. How are we supposed to know? We're not taxed.
It was a 990, and everything is always up to par. Everything is perfectly fine. You think I would have done it right the next couple of years, but I just never mailed it in.
Yeah. Do you know how many
the taxes were done? I just never mailed. I mailed in the taxes because the accountant did it. I just never mailed in that slip.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I took so much loss that it wasn't even worth it anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, in running I've gone back and forth about whether or not to make the trebuchet a nonprofit, and I think I've settled on no. I'm not going to.
It wasn't worth it. That's what I discussed. I said she's like, you can reinstate it any day. You're fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense. I have a loss. Why would I do that? I don't get donations. I can't get a pocket.
Well, because if you take donations, then you're stealing from people.
Oh, you're stealing.
Because you should be doing
You're not really working around the clock. What time is it right now, by the way?
I know.
Still working.
10:30.
Yeah, still working.
We were supposed to do this hours ago, and then it was like breaking news.
You're working. How much money did we make per hour? I didn't make anything, did you?
Well, I stole $750.
Oh, don't forget.
From donators who sent money to my...
You got more than me since I started my nonprofit.
So I actually spoke to the donors in my case because there's somebody saying, she defrauded us. And I was like, and I sent them, hey guys, did you want that money back? Because it went to production to edit all this because it's not free because my producer does this for free. And I said, I didn't get that money. It went to production, but if you'd like it back, I will, I texted, I put it in a group chat and I said, hey guys, everybody's connected. Please refund them, you guys connect about this. Because and that's why I'm completely self-funded because I don't.
You're just better off.
Yeah, and it's like, then I get to do this work without.
It's like when I had the entire hearing floor at Congress and I had every single Congress member there and I had the President of the United States and previous presidents and presidents of other countries.
I think Reagan was there.
They were all there. Even the dead presidents came. It was so amazing. But I told people, stop sending donations because the government is not reopening and I don't want to have to know who all these people are. So, send it back. And, you really can't get money out of dead presidents. So
it's like, that's the thing. You're funny. Okay, so there was that. There's that. You know what's so funny is like when people are behind the scenes and I'm doing these interviews, I haven't actually been trolled yet. So like today was kind of like my first day. And what's so crazy is like I didn't even know I was getting trolled because I blocked the person who was attacking, and I was like, God bless, and then I walked away.
Yeah. You can be nice, and then you can say, God bless you, I wish you well, I'm sorry you don't agree, and they just go nuts on you. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you respond. Nothing works with this type of.
You're the outlet for their frustration.
Something,
And because when I did my DOD whistleblowing for season 1 as a military spouse, I felt like a turncoat. I felt like I was exposing a secret that I wasn't. It's a lot like domestic violence. It's like, it's why you stay because you're usually raised in it and you're taught to be quiet. Like everybody used to say to me, Autumn, if you were raised in domestic violence, why didn't you ever report? And I was like, well, I didn't have a pediatrician to start with. My mom was our doctor, and my stepdad was also a doctor. So even if I tried to report, and when I did try to report,
where would you go?
I was kind of put back to like, and you're like, and then my dad was, pushed out of the picture, and he had cheated, so it's not like he was an innocent bystander, but it just was a messy upbringing, and when you can kind of step back and look at these people who are really hurting, and I always try to recognize one aspect of their psyche or their personality that is something that I've either healed or I haven't healed. And I'm like, if it upsets me, I'm like, ooh, that's something I need to look at. Like, why does that upset me? So like the money accusation, where I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I literally just paid for this person's flight here, flight there, $1,000, this, but like, I'm like, out of my money, and I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm not financed by a man. I was cut off from all of my resources. And you just go like, okay, so what is it that's hurting in them? And why is that hurting me? Because if I was really healed, it wouldn't hurt me.
That's true.
And, and then I
always think about that too. I'm like, okay, why am I defending myself? And part of it, though, is because I feel responsible to the people, because you're giving them hope, and you're moving in a really good direction, and they know it, they see it because they're a part of it. So I don't want them to be misled. So it's a responsibility issue. But also then when it goes a little more deeper, you're like, and I'm even feeling gaslit. Like, I'm like, wait, did I not do that? Did I not pay my taxes? Or, no, I did. I called my accountant. She's like, no, you're good. Or did I, whatever it is that they're saying, you're questioning yourself. And I'm like, wait a minute, somebody said that I had their child taken. I go look in the database, and we've got all kinds of accountability with my organization for years. And they're not in my database. They're not my client. But they're going out and telling them that I lost their child. Well, wait a minute. Then I went back and I researched that person. That person didn't have their kids before they met me. Like, what did I do? I guess it was that Fred Armstrong arm and grab their kids. Well, it's crazy. I can't even comprehend it. Like, I honestly.
Well, and this is it's just dirty. Family court is dirty. Everything about it is dirty. And even the good actors. And when there is somebody good and you get like swallowed by it, you're still going like, I was literally just trying to help, And I got drug into family court because my situation, I mean, you heard me today at the White House, or not the White House. Yeah, we were at the White House. We were at the White House.
Well, he was in Saudi Arabia.
That's
how good we are.
And then we took Air Force One down to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, that's right. We did that.
Actually, I will say, I do need to go down to Mar-a-lago because Melania's hairstylist, I met her at the inauguration. This is real. This is a real story. This is not a joke. The sweetest lady.
See, liars can tell when we're telling the truth or not. I knew she was telling the truth that time.
And she was like, when you come down, I'll cut your hair. And I was like, okay, but I just cut it. So I gotta send her a picture and be like, girl, I trimmed the dead ends off, and it's the last of my marriage hair. And I feel so good.
I feel healed.
I was like, I need to get rid of this hair.
There's so much about hair. It's so true.
Yeah, because I used to have long hair down here. People see my old podcast. They're like, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, I got a breast reduction and lost all my hair and lost an abusive ex. Turns out, life gets pretty great when you do it. But anyways, okay, so back to your thing. What exactly do you do?
I have no idea.
Just like, what brings us to Washington, D.C.? And how many years have you been doing this?
I think just a few days ago. Something like that. Maybe last week-ish.
And then...
I don't know, I just found myself in D.C. in around October-ish, something like that. Yeah.
And then how long have you been working on this act?
What act?
This act.
My act? The actress. Oh, gosh, that I did for years and years.
The charade.
Yeah.
The charade.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? So I've got brothers in entertainment. I'm not an entertainer. Out of my whole family, I'm the boring one. I'm the, people always say, I'm
You're the boring one?
I'm the quiet one. If you met my brothers, they're all their personalities are absolutely huge. I mean, my biological older brother is the cowboy in the Village People. So it literally doesn't get louder than he's the guy leading. Because everyone's like, why were you at the inauguration? I was like, because my brother was performing for the Village People. That backstage, and Secret Service was asking to take a picture with the SUV. And then I sometimes post some of those pictures, but not that often. And because why?
You should perform for the Family Justice and Accountability.
I'll talk to Karen.
Yes.
Karen's the manager. I'll be like, man,
That'd be
Karen can.
That'd be cute.
Yeah, that actually would.
Yeah, they better hide all their emails and all their stuff, because they'll be trolled next. There'll be a journalistic, story put out.
Yeah.
Well,
they got really hated on for doing President Trump's inauguration on it. They're like, they're sellouts.
I saw that.
And my brother was like, I didn't necessarily want to go, but he did not want to go, and it's Hollywood, and you got to do a job. And I've always taken a page out of his book. He's such a professional, and he had a dream, he had a goal, and when you see him up on stage performing, he gives it his all, and then behind the scenes, he's just him. And then he just head down, does the job, doesn't bitch, doesn't complain. And actually Victor said that about him. He goes, this is the hardest working man. And I was like, and I've always just, out of everybody in my family, I followed his lead. And
now you said that he's not an original.
No, so the way that it works.
Like,
Victor, the policeman, he's the original.
He's the original.
Yeah, and then they developed this ensemble called the Village People because his writing partner was this French man.
Okay.
And they were like in Greenwich Village, and there's some discussion about whether or not it was like a gay man back in the day or not.
Yeah, I remember all that too.
All that,
it's on Gen X.
And apparently it was like Halloween, and so they got all these people together as background singers. That's the story. That's what Victor told me. And then it changes over all the time. Okay. And so like my brother's been in it for like 5 years. And when we first found out he was in it, I went up to see him. I got the whole family tickets. He's like, why didn't you let me come? And I was like, I thought this was a cover band. I felt so bad, but it was like the real thing. So, but anyways, we should have him perform for that. So
that'd be great. Yeah. Next time we're on the White House lawn, coming up with Trump, we could just have the whole band there.
Actually, you know what? I really should. Yeah. That will be out.
We can even go there tomorrow. I mean, we can walk in and out anytime we want. They don't even check us.
Well, they performed at the Turning Point event, too.
Oh,
so we could.
Okay.
Yeah, they were at the Turning Point, ball. During the inauguration, there was all those balls going.
Yeah.
And so they performed.
Okay. I do think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
It's been. Yeah.
I met Charlie Kirk at that. He was so sweet. He took a picture of me and the founder of what we're in here, Airbnb. Yeah. Hey, Airbnb, if you guys want to sponsor us, we would really appreciate it. Joe Gebbia Sr., so Joe Gebbia Jr.
See, there's that grinding sound again. Hear it? You hear it?
Yeah, it sounds like a vacuum. We'll get that in edit. We'll get that in post. So the end of that story is I was talking to
Charlie Kirk.
And he took pictures for us. Like, he was just a nice guy.
Yeah,
and what's funny is, I kind of recognized him. I was like, I feel like I said...
Oh, did he kind of look a little different in person?
No, I didn't... I never
He's
really
tall,
followed...
right? Like super tall. Yeah.
I never
What was
really...
he, like 6'7" or something? 6'8"?
I don't know.
He's way up there.
Yeah. I never followed Turning Point USA, really. And, I didn't even...
happened?
Yeah, I kind of was, aware of it, and I knew he would, go around to college campuses and was, super provocative. Mm-hmm. But, I always kind of appreciated that because I remember when I was in college and these abortion, anti-abortion people would go around and they'd put the really wild pictures up. And I appreciated it because it was the whole purpose of going to college is to experience perspectives that are different than yours.
That's right. Yeah.
And
not troll you because of it, and not make fake statements because of it, not make libelous, slanderous statements about you because you didn't, do the right thing.
So that's how I run the podcast because when I
respect goes a long way.
Respect it. Well, I try to do the Socratic method, which is where you take an issue and you look at it from all sides.
That's right.
And a lot of times I'll go okay, devil's advocate, what about this? Or lately I've been saying, okay, angel's advocate. What if the worst possible thing is that this person is actually trying to do a good thing? In the situation that we've been dealing with for me, and it's all these things, and I'm my heart is in the good place because I understand where that person is and why they're hurting. So I really don't want to comment on it because it doesn't do anything to help the situation.
It's not doing anything help.
No, and so I just feel I'm just saying, with love, right? So, but and that's something that part of the reason why I'm doing the podcast on the Department of Defense, not the Department of War, the Department of Justice, and doing the whistleblowing is. I was a high school history teacher, and it's almost we need to educate our population about what's actually going on with our government. Because I think people think that, our courts are good.
It's hard for me, I hear that a lot, okay? Yeah. But because I've been doing this for 18 years, I just remembered how long it wasn't just...
Oh, it's been 18 years.
It wasn't just a week ago. But because I have been doing it for that long, I do meet so many people, voluminous amounts of people that have already... Either they suffered it themselves, or their neighbor, or their friend, or their cousin.
Everybody knows somebody.
So everybody knows. So when I do, but it doesn't take me long when I do meet that percentage that doesn't understand. Once I start giving them the facts or what I know or what I do, and I tell them how I see it, and I have firsthand knowledge of it because I do it all over the country, they realize that there's something radical wrong. And then they start clicking, oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
everybody knows somebody. There's a handful of women, and this is the pattern that I see, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but this is literally what I'm seeing. There is a handful of women who got obliterated by family courts in the 80s and 90s. Well, but
definitely different.
I was trying to think of what her name was. Betty Broderick. I mean, granted, she's got her own whole thing. I'm not talking negatively or positively about her, but hers is a very public case. She's in the Dirty John saga. We were talking about this earlier. But she got gaslit by her husband, who was an attorney and who she put through law school. And it reminds me of this woman, Sheena Pastani.
That was the whole Gaslight movie, right?
Yeah, so
I watched it.
And you know, she's not well. She's still to this day won't amends or anything like that. But it's like, like some people choose to hold on to their anger, and some people repent, and some people have personality issues, and everybody's different. But it reminds me of this woman in Montana, Sheena Pastani, who put her husband through law school. She was a very smart woman. And then she ended up having to sell her company and give him money. And then he used his law degree to just obliterate her. He had 6 federal marshals come and arrest her.
It's sick.
And it's like, and she's not like Betty Broderick in any manner. But it's like, they want you dead, almost.
It's a very distorted personality disorder. It's very bad.
But so I'm seeing women from like the 80s and 90s, and like Karen and those women that were speaking at the Family Justice and Accountability Act.
Wait, we had a
it was like a thing.
It was a thing?
Yeah, it was like a thing.
It was nobody there that I heard.
No. It was like
I heard people were dying.
200 people.
People actually collapsed and died. I heard that.
I heard somebody bought the whole room coffee. I mean, I got a free coffee.
$300 worth, but, you know.
That's really, thank you. Were you the one that paid for it?
Of course not.
I never got to
stole it. I stole it.
Whoever bought
I literally left the place, and I magically showed up at Dunkin' Donuts and stole $300 worth of coffee. I was arrested. I was put away, and I managed to get back just in time to give my speech.
Perfect.
It was one of those days. I'm very good at what I do.
Yeah, my team all got caramel lattes, so thank you. Yeah, so the media team that wasn't there, that weirdly wasn't featured in any of these troll articles, it's so weird. But you know what? I'm gonna play.
I actually love this right now. I'm enjoying this.
I'm gonna play Angel's Advocate.
Very educational.
Thank you. Angel's Advocate on this is...
I really like Angel's Advocate better, too.
Right.
Because we believe in God.
Yeah. So, Angel's Advocate on this is, this individual knows that I'm the real deal, and she doesn't want to totally blow my cover, maybe?
Or the fact that the article that came out is such filled with lies, and to me, if you're a journalist, ethically, you're supposed to, somebody should have interviewed me. You don't just, it's called libel and slander.
Yeah.
It's a suable action, okay? Yeah. It's a tortious interference. So if she was to come to you and get your actual genuine input.
I mean, even just like, hey, were you there? What was your opinion of it?
But that would discredit the lies in the article.
Yeah.
Because the proof is that you did how many interviews?
I mean, on camera, like probably 100 between me and the two gals.
Okay, and we still have more than.
Oh, there's so many.
And
there's
how
so
many prior were? You said 62 were prior.
67.
67 were prior.
We had 67 prior.
There were over 200 people in that room that day. Because I know the size of the room. We wouldn't have even fit the people in the original congressional hearing room that was contracted by a sponsor.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it, which I questioned it too.
I put it up on social media.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had to have a. Unfortunately, I didn't want that. I did not want an eating event. This is a sombering event.
Yeah.
It's an education panel. And I didn't want that, but because there were so many, and I'm wondering if they even thought that they knew that the government was shutting down, because it was so hard to get a room. I didn't harass anybody. I made a phone call.
Yeah.
One of my guest speakers, Terry LaPointe, who I have multiple interviews, I think I showed you one. She's running for Congress in Alabama.
Oh, that's right.
That's very nice lady. Yeah. I worked with her multiple times. I did not name drop her. Okay. Yeah. I simply said to the representative's office, when I said, could you guys get me a room? We asked several sponsors.
Yeah.
And the one that was able to narrow it down was Rep. Morse. And what happened was, I didn't name drop. I simply said, Terry is on our guest panel.
Yeah.
And she can only be there on the 20th or the 21st. Can you please try? I know it's hard right now.
Oh, that's how the
for
dates.
those days.
Oh, that's how. I wonder how the dates got.
She had to go into, I think it's called she had to go into something pre-Congress. And so she couldn't come anyway, and I easily filled her slot because everybody wanted a spot.
Yeah.
And just because we were 30 minutes from Congress in the middle of a government shutdown, what happened was, we had a lot of RSVPs. What happened is that there was like, I was getting emails, and other people, it wasn't just me, got emails because other people that were team leads trying to get Congress members, and everybody wants this bill. Everybody wants this bill. Everybody wants this bill.
Oh yeah, I saw a text that said, please, I'll do anything to be part of this. Like, I'm getting a 10. I was like, whoa, holy cow, that's why. I was like, let me see that.
But what happened was they sponsored the room, and then I got a phone call. One of the things with if you get this room, if you want this room, this is a catering room. It has a minimal price, and you have to do catering. So I decided to do watermelon mozzarella lollipops, not because I wanted them, but because I wanted finger food. So it would be drinks and like finger food. So it was like chips. It was, and the prices were outrageous. Yeah. Okay, not something that I would do. It's not practical. But I thought, okay, we're going to be there for 8 hours, and the people are going to get hungry. I don't want anybody dying in the seats. Yeah. Let them have drinks. They can have drink, whatever. Yeah. So I did the menu, and I did the menu on the lowest end of it as I can possibly do, because I'm not forking the bill. I fork enough bill. Yeah. And so I said, listen, guys, we can all chip in, and then I stopped any donations, not for Fran to go to Paris, but for the bill, the catering bill. And plus, it's not just a catering bill. Nowadays, which I think is really sad, that our house charges us for emoluments. Okay, that was the word I was
Emolument.
Emoluments. So we have,
putting things
but you have to pay for $200 for mics, or $100 for lock-in. No, sorry, $200 per Wi-Fi mics, and $100 per lock-in mics on the briefing table. You have to pay for the screen. You have to pay for connectivity. You have to pay for all this stuff. It all adds up.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. So I stopped all donations because I'm not that person. Okay, I stopped all donations, and I said, listen, guys, I don't want to have to reimburse anybody, and it's too confusing. I got too much going on. So stop all donations because the government is on lockdown, and we don't know if we're keeping the room. It wasn't that I harassed somebody for the room. I don't have time to harass people. It wasn't that. Like, that's just the crazy things that people say. And I have to ask you a question. Yeah. This is, and not because I wrote it, okay? I wrote it because I've seen the damages over 18 years. Yeah. And I do this all over the entire country. And I know that these are the solutions. This is a constitutionally sound bill. It incorporates the Americans with Disability Act, and it incorporates the Articles of Human Rights. It is a solutions bill, finally, because how many bills have gone out and we're still in the same place?
Well, that's what I was just looking at.
We're still in the same place. Yeah. We're still damaging, the families are still being damaged, children are still being damaged. So why are people fighting a bill that can stop it finally? Why would anybody want to stop this bill unless they work for the courts? Or unless somehow they are affiliated with the courts? Because as you know, you were there. I haven't had one person from over 200 people that were there that said, I no longer want to be a part of it. I'm still working with all these people.
Yeah, everybody's
and
still
it's growing. Yeah. So these are lies. Yeah. So the people that are actually really a part of this, and then all the other volunteers and the families that are represented throughout the country, they're all gung-ho. Yeah. Because they were there. They took every Wednesday night. They know what's going on. There was no distortions. There was no, I'm telling them exactly, we need a room so we can present the bill. Yeah. It's not always done. It's not ever done that way. We're bringing the people.
At the end of the day, the act did, and it was so healing. And I had planned on coming, and then I was like, I don't know, because I got my own family court, so I was in family court on Wednesday.
A lot of people were literally doing virtual court.
I literally did a virtual court and I'm like, for paying my electric bill from our community funds. That's what I was held in criminal contempt for. I thought it was going to be social media.
Unbelievable.
So wild.
Unbelievable.
But while we were talking about Alabama, Rep. Moore, I'll be in your office soon to ask you about Megan Bramlett, who is the mother who was taken into custody and served 10 days in jail and was sentenced. And when I checked her jail records on the night she was taken, it was for unknown charges. I talked to I called the jail and I said, hey, what was this woman booked on, and what do we need to do to get her out? And she goes, no, she doesn't get bail. She's in jail. The judge sentenced her to 10 days for contempt of court. I go, what did she do? And they go, she disrupted court. Well, first they said, well, we don't know. And then I was like, well, what? And then she looks it up and she goes, she disrupted court. She stood up for her First Amendment rights, which are, you can't do a guy. Yeah. Turns out her husband is part of a financially solvent family, and they don't want the bad press. And in a place like Alabama with Morgan County, it's so small, they just got ahead of it. And this is a mom of 4 kids. If you see her mugshot, she's got she's got
horrible. I know, because I've seen so many long dress, stay at home, wholesome moms, and they're in jail. It's and what did you do? And they're like, I don't know. I protected my child. I did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did. Honestly, I don't know what I did. I mean, we've all experienced this.
Well, what's ironic is in my case, I did what I would go to jail for if I didn't.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And remember I said to you earlier, I said, the saying, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
God forbid you say something these days. You're gonna get destroyed.
Well, and that's what I love about the act.
It's so sad.
If it turns into legislation, all it is doing is putting when it turns into legislation, all it's doing is putting consequences to people or individuals who are not currently following our laws. So, like in my case, the judge, or she wasn't even a judge, she was a commissioner, which I didn't know you have to be heard by a commissioner, which a commissioner is appointed, not elected. Not that it makes much of a difference, but so she like ordered me back to work, cut off everything. Like I don't even have health care. I don't have access to any of my community funds. The judge wouldn't release them, and I'm like, why are you the arbiter of where my money is? They forced me to sell my home. I ended up homeless, and I'm like, what's wrong with you people? And then she goes, well, you can work. You can go back to work. You were a podcaster. You can earn unlimited subs. I was a hobby podcaster. I worked full time for the U.S. Army Center. Thanks. Yeah, I worked full time for the U.S. Army Center of Military History, and then the State Department to finance how to learn how to do all this because I never could have asked my husband for money, and that's why he made me stop. He made me choose between the podcast or our family, and so I chose my family, right? And so, anyways. But that reminds me, Representative Moore from Alabama, I will be to your office and I would like comment on Megan Bramlett, who is the mother who served 10 days of jail time, and I would like to speak to the governor in your state to commute her sentence. And that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about, is all of these women who've either been pathologized or criminalized by courts. I would love it because like Trump can't, the president can't pardon them because these are state crimes. They're not federal. And so it's like a governor would have to pardon them. And I wish that there was some way that all of these women could, because I'm not seeing it with men. I'm just not seeing it.
The men are being, which I feel this is wrong too, the men are being arrested. Well, first of all, they're not being arrested for domestic violence. They're given children. But the good dads are being arrested if they can't afford child support. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that don't want to pay it, that support their children. Naturally, it's a natural thing. You should want to. But the ones that like they just no longer can afford it, or it's exorbitant or whatever, they're the ones that are going to jail, which I feel is disgusting because it's disgusting. Like, how are you going to pay
liens against
if you're in jail? Like, I mean, there's so many problems. It's just so awful, and the fact that I laugh about it because what are you going to do? It's insane what we're seeing with these people, but these people that are attacking something that literally will set people free, will literally protect the next generations of children, I cannot wrap my head around this, or any person. Most of the people that we talk to, they're like, oh, they're crazy, whatever, but any person that would follow and even give them any sense of attention, I cannot understand it, because the bill is, to me, and anybody that I've talked to, it is protection. It is putting the court custody orders into compliance with the Constitution, into compliance with the Articles of Human Rights. That's what the whole bill is about. And not just into compliance with like the Americans with Disabilities Act, but to prevent them from causing disabilities, because trauma is a disability.
My doctor has literally said I can't go back to teaching. It will probably kill me because I was so emotionally strung out. I was working 3 jobs, trying to pay my own rent and support myself when my house is being sold underneath me. And I had a lawyer literally try to steal $50,000 from my escrow account. Like,
they all do that.
It's so horrific. And
I mean, not all, but there's a lot.
It's horrific. But at the end of the day,
not all, but there's a lot that do that. I've seen it.
It's terrible. Because there's so many people who profit. But at the end of the day, I just kept thinking, if I just work harder, if I just work faster, if I just work smarter. And I just watched the season finale of season 1. And my producer was like, hey, I'm really sorry to make you do this, but I need you to watch this back. And like, he goes, because you were crying and it's inaudible and I need to get the captions. And so I watched it back, and I'm so glad that I've had enough time to
heal, to watch it.
And I'm like, and it's so powerful because I'm like living it in real time. But I kept saying,
been there with my first book. I was living it in real time.
But I kept saying like, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You watched the podcast.
I watched the podcast back. I said that. What was I going to say? I don't know.
You were living it in real time. You watched
living it in real time. I watched it back. I don't know. It must have not been important. Oh, well, I mean, I didn't think I was going to end up doing a season 2. That's for sure. But I was still so stuck in the trauma. And, that's what I was going to say. So on that, I said, I don't do anything strategically. I just launch. I'm like, that's why it's called the trebuchet. I just load it up and I just throw it in. And, you know, it causes a disruption. That's what a trebuchet does. You're not intending to hit every target. If you do, amazing. But you are supposed to throw something over enemy lines and cause a disrustion so you can reach them.
I think we're doing that very well.
That's what we're doing, yeah. And
the enemy don't like it.
No. But I said to my producer, I need somebody who's smarter, who's faster, I was like, I need somebody who's smarter, who's faster, who's stronger. And then we went to ground because my podcast got threatened by my ex. Because God forbid I actually go back to work, like the judge ordered, to make money because nobody's paying me. And then he sends the producer a cease and desist. He did the same thing to the producer, to the promoter.
But wait, your ex did or the judge did? Because did the judge say that he didn't like the fact that you were doing
they don't like
after you did it?
They don't like us at all. They tried to charge me with criminal charges.
Let me touch on that because I think that is really important, okay? So these judges try to control every aspect of people's life. So it's not just the horrible things that they're doing to children in this country, but let's just set that aside for a second. Destroying your livelihood, your ability to be productive in life. Okay, I always talk about this too. Restraining just families from just being in one jurisdiction or one state. Well, what if you're successful to the point where you can have homes in multiple states? People can't even think outside the box anymore and be all they're supposed to be because family court, what it has done. So yes, I'm coming against something. We're coming against something that is so demonic and so bondage to families that it doesn't shock me that certain people, not a lot, a small percentage, it's amazing the damage they can do though, but would be attacking something of this nature because some people like to thrive in abuse. They really do. Other people don't want this to end because they're part of this system.
They're part of the money train.
You don't see them complaining about these other bills that have gone through that made it.
Oh, they were
They're not complaining about that. The reason why they're not complaining about that because it didn't make any lasting change. If we wouldn't be
those
here.
Two bills that were referenced, those were both like protecting the integrity of the American family
and what's the solution?
There's no solution.
Okay.
We're making sure that parents' rights. That's the thing.
Mine has remedy and relief. Mine has, you can go back to the inception of where your case went wrong because you lost all due process because the court orders are supposed to be in compliance with the Americans with Disability Act, with the Articles of Human Rights, and with the Constitution. They are not. So now they're trying to say that my bill is not constitutional. But that's all my bill is. It's constitutional from the top to the bottom.
Well, we'll find out.
That's exactly what I'm fighting for. Well, now we have a constitutional lawyer that is analyzing the entire bill, and I'm going to show that result to you. I know it's constitutional. I don't need a lawyer to tell me, but I'm glad to have one, and I'm glad to have met this wonderful human being. He's an Army,
He's an Army major doing a fellowship.
A wonderful human being. It was a definite godsend and a definite, just to prove, because God's always going to say, you're wrong, this is the truth. I'm not here this is a stressful, this is a sacrifice on every level. We're working literally around the clock.
You offered me a room last night, and I was like, oh, it's okay. I fell asleep
in the car.
In the car talking to another survivor. And
driving till the wee hours in the morning. We're both exhausted.
But then I backed it up because she called this morning. I was like, hey, did you make it to...
Four buildings today, House and Senate buildings today. I mean, I've got blisters on my feet.
Right.
You know,
like, I need a pickup.
We get paid our hourly wage for what we've been doing.
No.
This is a cost. But they want to say all this stuff, so I think this is important, like I said before, to the responsibility of the viewers and the families that we really care about, that we're laying our lives down for, because I want to see everybody's life get better. I want to see the mental health of this country get better. I want to see the mental health of our children get better, and they're not going to get better through family court. They're not going to get better through ripping families apart, taking away their livelihoods, taking away their homes, taking away everything.
Because where does it go at the end? It goes to
here's where I'm annoyed. Can I tell you where I'm really annoyed?
Please.
After being in 4 Congress buildings today. Grateful, and we had great meetings. We had a very awesome meeting as planned today. However, I am really annoyed with our Congress members, and I'm going to say this.
Do it.
We vote for you. We are your employers. I know you don't like to hear that, okay? When we come to you, I understand. We're very busy people. There's times I have to do everything by appointment only so I can give my focus and attention on my clients at that time. To the point where I have to make appointments with my family members. Okay? Like, this is the truth. So when I come to Congress, and I travel from New York, and she travels from Arizona, and we're coming together, and another gentleman travels from where was it? He came from
Washington State.
Washington State. Okay, we demand. We don't just ask for it. We demand your respect, and we deserve it.
Yeah.
Period. We're here for something that is urgently important, and I don't even like lobbying. I don't even like it. I don't even like it at all. I don't want blisters on my feet. I don't want to go in and out. I don't. I'm being honest. I don't want to walk in and out of these places.
Well, because if you don't dress up and you don't look the part, you immediately get dismissed.
I mean,
that's why that first day that I went, I actually separated from the group because as soon as they said no filming in the building, so I was just there to document. You know, I'm just here to preserve.
Which there are legal rights to that.
Yeah.
We have legal rights from 2010 Supreme Court that we are legally allowed to document and we are legally allowed to film our Congress members, anybody that's a part of the government.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're not allowing that this is the problem. They're not allowing that in 4 Congress offices, houses.
Yeah.
Our house. It's our house. It's our house. So they're not allowing that. That's against the law. So I'm going in with a bill that's constitutional. Okay, let's talk about the gaslighting here. I'm going in with a bill that's constitutional, that has some solutions to save families, that has remedy and relief, that can take you back to the inception of your case, that can do all kinds of great things, that will hold them accountable, criminal charges, and no matter what it is, there's so much in this bill. Okay, male and female. Okay, that's not gender specific. Yeah. The only time it mentions mothers is because Dr. Richard Gardner, when he coined the phrase parental alienation syndrome, okay, not just alienation, parental alienation syndrome, he only targeted mothers. So I'm emphasizing that in that portion. We have tons of fathers that are wonderful dads that we support 100%.
Well, he's the one who's behind a lot of the reunification camp theories.
Well, he's about all of that, but it's all carried into 2025. Even though he's long gone and he's dead, it's carried into 2025, and even without a medical clinician diagnosis on a woman or a man, because there's some men that have been treated as if they have alienation syndrome now, which is completely debunked. Which I've seen a few. We had one actually testify, but even though they have that, they're being like a pseudo diagnosis because it's part of the system.
So what is it?
It's not a genuine diagnosis. So in his own publications, Gardner said I'm not going to say it because of the podcast, but he normalized child.
He was
He
was part of the Michael Jackson trials.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, was he? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked into him.
It says a lot.
And he was kind of the grandfather of this ideology.
Well, there's other doctors, and I don't have the names in front of me, but there's other doctors that followed suit, and they've all been debunked.
Yeah.
They're debunked, and you cannot contort and change these other diagnoses to fit parental alienation syndrome. It doesn't. They don't work together.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that they try to do. They try to contort other diagnoses, other types of pathologies to say that that's parental alienation syndrome. Yeah. But they're not. They're not even in the same thing, okay? So that's very important that people understand that because...
What kind of diagnoses would they say?
They just say certain types of pathologies or that if you have certain types of narcissism or whatever, if you have certain types of narcissism or whatever it is, that is actually parental alienation syndrome, and it's not.
If you have narcissism?
Yeah, like just different forms of mental illness, okay? Without getting...
But it's more just like the personality type of
personality
do that.
Thing.
So like, here's my question. In domestic violence, and I'm seeing this so much with like other women, because like you saw that email today from the producer who said, hey, can I put you in contact with another military mother? Mm-hmm. She was in domestic violence for years, finally found the courage to leave, and everything was turned around on her, and she was arrested, and she's ashamed and doesn't know what to do, and he got fake domestic violence charges on her, which is why I was so encouraged by you.
But it goes both ways. I'm not saying
it does.
It does.
It does. And I've seen women do this, and I was interviewing the families in Orange County, and I was talking to a father, and he was like telling me some of the things that his ex-wife was doing, and I was like, and I actually got up out of my seat, and I was like, see, that's when women like me enter the group chat, and I'm like, yo, girl, get it together, because you're making the rest of us look bad.
Let me just say, I'm aiming high when I say this. Less than 6% of women that report abuse are lying.
Yeah.
But you heard the expert panel that I had. It was actually lower than that. But I'm going to give it 6%. Let's give it 6.
Less than the Rape Crisis Centers say less than 5% of women report sexual assault, and even I think it's like less than 2 report more than once.
Okay, but the ones that are lying is less than 6% for reporting abuse of whatever kind.
Yeah.
So that means that 94% of women that go to family court are all liars and crazy. According to the way this works, So what does this do? So when you have those types of women, they're damaging it for every woman that's telling the truth. But 94% of women are telling the truth, and they're treated as if they're lying. This is not working, and it's not fair. And what did we have during the whole time? 2 days worth of testimonies and so on and so forth. We had fathers that protected women and children.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And that is what we can support. We can support that. No different than I'm not going to support a woman that punches herself in the face and says a man did it, or lies about a man and says that he did something that he didn't do, because I'm not going to support that either.
That's something in my case that has gone over and over and over and over. I ended up in the hospital multiple times for the same thing, but one of the worst times, I lost consciousness and I woke up and everybody kept saying, well, he hit you, and I said, listen, the fact that I never once changed my story, and my story has always been, I lost consciousness. I don't know what happened. I was blacked out. Like, I was unconscious. I came to naked, covered in blood, blood up in the air. And when I came downstairs to get ice for my face, he comes around the corner and oh my gosh, are you okay? What's wrong? Honey, what happened to you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm so disoriented. I had a concussion really bad.
Wow.
But like the number of times all I had to say, and I was covered in bruises, chipped teeth, it came home in a neck collar. All I had to say was, he did it.
Wow.
That's all I had to say. But in my heart, I was like, I don't know what happened, because I was unconscious. And then I had, he showed up early to a visitation, and it literally scared me so badly. I had what's called a sinuscope episode, which is where you lose consciousness. It's kind of like a fainting goat. Have you ever seen those? They get so scared they go, and the supervised visitation provider watched it happen.
And saw it.
She literally saw, and I was standing there talking.
Yeah,
I was talking to my daughter. And I was like, it's okay, honey, because we were doing the separation. And I was like, it's okay, you're going to go with Dad. And this was when he was still trying to get me back and telling everybody he was going to make me come back begging, crawling on my hands and knees. He told the supervisor that. He heard I was hungry, so he brought 3 cans of soup. And I'm like, he's either an idiot or an abuser. Well, now I know he's an abuser. And everybody was like, Autumn, come on, open up your eyes. And the end of that story is I'm standing there talking to my daughter. And I'm terrified, and I know that the kids are going to have to go back, and it's high stress for everybody.
It's so hard, I know.
And I had a sinuscope episode then. I fell backwards, and my daughter fell onto me. So, I fell back, hit my head, and she must have hit her knees. The supervisor called the ambulance. My stepmom came to get, check in, and because she was visiting, because it was Christmas, because my ex had kicked me out of the house and had me banned from the military base where all of my girlfriends lived, intentionally trying to make me homeless. He tried to get me jobless, tried to get me homeless, which I'm going to get to the question about this alienation syndrome and how it, is it a thing, but there is, a pathology of abusers who want to separate you from your communities.
It's completely different, so you have to remember there's Darbo and then there's cohorts of control.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that you really should not put you should never put them in the same category. You really shouldn't. It's that dangerous.
Yeah.
And how do we know it's that dangerous? Because at the end of the first part of the first day seminar, did you see how many dead children were in that? Did you watch that?
I watched it with my producer.
So I can't, we can't see the results of what they're doing. And it's not just the dead children. That's why we had a moment of silence for ever. Literally, it just went on. We could have had so many more of them too. Okay, but we're talking about what about the children that are in abuse currently? What about the children that are court ordered into molestation and all that kind of stuff, and it's ongoing, and that's because of parental alienation syndrome. So we have to separate it and say what it really is. Okay, and it's not. That's why I don't even use the word I've been alienated, just because this is so damaging and so bad and so deadly. That why there's other words we can use. I mean, it's okay if somebody goes, I'm alienated, I don't see my kid. I get it. And I'm not saying let's be so nitpicky. And I'm just saying, please understand that when you're holding on to parental alienation syndrome, and it's junk science and it's debunked, and Dr. Richard Gardner in his own publication said that it's normal for children to have, with adults.
Yeah.
And this dangerous, dangerous man diagnosed every single mother. So first of all, a diagnosis can't just be for mothers.
I just realized
it can't be just for women only, though. A diagnosis can't be just women only.
Wait, so he only diagnosed
mothers? That's the whole point.
Oh my gosh!
It was
and
specifically
he's normalizing
mothers.
Child and adult relationships.
That's right.
And he's only so
that's why I'm trying to say to you now in 2025, you don't have to have somebody diagnose you. That's what they're doing. That's the narrative. That's the narrative. So that's why I'm so adamant about it, and that's why the whole panel that was behind, the whole panel agrees. So it's not. So you can't go by it, and I have it in my second book. And Dr. Bandy they line up. Our statistics line up perfectly. She and I. You can't.
Who we didn't talk to today, who we didn't
No, I didn't get
asked
an
to
email
be
from her.
on. Yeah, at first thing in the morning, which that was such a small world.
So,
the mother that I was
she loves
on
my
the
bill,
phone with
but
into the
she
middle of
loves
the
my
night
bill. Yeah.
had gotten a forensic
That's
evaluation for her,
awesome.
and I said, "Hey, can you put us in contact?"
She's awesome.
Isn't that wild?
She's awesome.
Yeah.
But
So shout out. That's me.
So is it like this?
I mean, that's what it is. It's like a network of survivors, and you're like, okay. So
going back to this, so we have to be very careful with it because it's endangering women and children, and it's endangering the protective father. Okay, it's endangering them. Period. So let's be careful with it. That's all I'm saying. Let's be careful with it. And people get so red hot.
Yeah.
It's like, did anybody teach you to listen to the entire sentence? You know, that's why God gives us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Let's stop and listen and hear what's the person that's coming to rescue you. And you ever see 2 people drowning, or one person is drowning and the rescuer comes in?
Yeah.
And what do?
Yeah.
And the person's like, I'm just here to save you, and then they both drown together. That's what I see that's happening.
Or you stay in a lifeboat and throw the life preserver.
You're better off because you know, and then they can free will going. But this whole entire thing, and then what they're doing is they're twisting other diagnoses, and they're trying to force it a square into a circle and insist it's parental alienation syndrome, which is one of the most dangerous things for women. Most dangerous thing. And that's the only portion of my bill and it's interesting. It's very, very interesting because the main person that's attacking me so viciously hates women. She hates women. She wrote a book about hating women. She wrote a book that all women are horrible. Okay? Harasses everybody, contacted everybody that we're affiliated with, sent threatening messages.
Beep her name out. I don't want to platform that.
Yeah, leave her name out. But she contacts everybody. She sends long emails stating that they have to get away from me. Why are you so scared of me?
Or do you think I should interview them? Do you think I should offer an interview?
I would listen.
The only
You're
reason
not going to
why.
get it. You won't get it, first of all, because this is what they do. They say Francesca won't come and defend herself. And first of all, I wouldn't even engage with them. Anybody that knows me knows whenever I've been trolled, I don't even please. But she won't even defend herself because she knows she's wrong. No, I don't defend myself because you say all these horrible things, you make videos day and night. I don't know how somebody has that much time on their hands. I don't know how somebody can act so childish, first of all. But I won't defend myself, but yet you've blocked me everywhere. And anytime someone gets annoyed, because they know what's really happening here and what we're really doing. Yeah. They go and they say, no, I was there. No, this, no, that. They block them.
I was like, hey, do you guys want to hear mine? I was there.
You were there. You've been a part of this.
Well, Chris Lyle, who supposedly is with New Jersey News.
Yes, supposedly.
Unverified.
He is New Jersey Coast.
I gotta think of it.
He is.
He and I were like texting back and forth.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
He's part of Turning Point. He is.
Yeah.
So, but I love it. They're going to get a little bit better in journalism, and they're going to say allegedly, but they're going to lie about everything else as if it's fact.
But what's crazy is I know that person personally, and they know I was here. Like my picture was in the
That's what I told you.
I was like, why didn't you reach out to me just to be like, hey, you're in it? And I've never been anything but like polite. And
your being here is discrediting the narrative.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to go to somebody that can discredit their narrative.
Yeah.
They just want to troll.
Yeah.
They just want to knock you down. They put the governor, they put senators' pictures up. So the first thing, you see is you think it's like, oh, these guys are a part of this. They're not a part of this at all. It's such bad journalism. It's so unethical. And it's libel. And it's slander.
Yeah.
And it's a lawsuit. And if I say that, I'm threatening them. No, I'm telling you what the legal recourse is.
That's like the aggression of maternal aggression.
It's reversed. Let's project onto you. So I can sit here and I can attack you, I can insult you, I can disparage you, I can lie about you, I can put it in publication, which is illegal. Mm-hmm. That is illegal. That's not your First Amendment right when you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the defamation is not defendable.
None of that. But if I say, I can sue you, and I'm going to, and then I'm going to take it further, oh, she's threatening us. Francesca Amato is threatening a journalist. First of all, honey, you're a self-proclaimed journalist. And I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about the male. We won't get into it.
Yeah. See,
but you're a self-proclaimed journalist. You're not anybody with any credibility.
Yeah.
So even CNN has more credibility than you.
Before I think people realized that this was like legit, they wouldn't give me the time of day. And then once they realized there was something to it, it's like they still don't want to give me the time of day because they're like, I don't know. maybe I'm gonna I think I'm gonna be like the underdog in this, where like I've documented the whole thing, and then everybody gets to see it from behind the scenes. And with the Family Justice and Accountability Act, like I saw the behind the scenes. Like I was in the 4-person meeting where we're like trying to keep the bill, like or trying to get the act from the act to the bill. Yeah. And you stood up for something that I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to not necessarily get the bill sponsored in this form with this backing.
It wasn't the goal, though.
No.
You read my emails, right?
Yeah.
What did my email say? It said, sponsor the room, not the bill.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Right? But there was I have a plan.
Yeah. But when we were on that call with just the 4 of us, the representative, the other day, you had to go.
Okay. I'm trying to remember which one I'm drawing my brain. Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
And I was and I was watching.
Kabish.
Yeah. And I was watching, and you go, no, like, this has to be in it, because if it's not it doesn't reform it. And I watched
it doesn't change it. It doesn't fix it.
And
you're fixing it.
And that was my concern, because I was like, I'm supporting this bill because it gets the bad actors out, and it strips
them of this pseudo authority.
Yeah.
It's a pseudo authority.
Yeah.
It's not legitimate authority, but they're getting away with a pseudo authority with zero accountability.
Yeah.
It puts the power back into the people.
Yeah.
Not just with courts and CPS and all that garbage.
Yeah.
With our Congress members. I just can't even. It upsets me to go there and to be treated. Everybody's treated like this. We're all dirt. Remember that. Doesn't matter. To be treated as if.
Well, unless you're a lobbyist and you donate to their CPAC.
Well, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So to be treated as if you're not their boss.
Yeah.
Okay? And with respect should be mutual. It should be mutual respect. That upsets me. And the type of a person I am, I've always been like this. God created me this way. I am a fighter. Okay? When I see wrong, I can't not do something about it.
Yeah.
That's why I do this.
Yeah.
Okay? We can make a lot more money doing something else and a lot less stressful life.
Yeah.
But I can't see the way things are. I'm so tired. And that's why I tell all my people that are coming, stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Make it worth it.
And that's the thing, when you finally, the message has finally permeated social media, and then you get these women who are like these kind of like, shrieking violets who go like, Your Honor, my First Amendment, and then they get taken to jail.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say at the beginning of this.
But not always.
You see,
I never did. I mean, I did. No, sorry. I did get arrested. I was out in 25 days, 25 days. I was out in 24 hours. I was supposed to be there for 60 days, and they saw a ghost when I showed up at court, just to kind of enjoy myself a little bit. But I don't have any record of anything of any kind. And yes, I know there's horrible things happening right now.
Yeah.
Like no bonds and no bail and 500. What is that one? $500
million.
$500 million. Insane. It's insane. But I bucked the system. I bucked the system all the way through. And I bucked, and I said what I had to say, and I fought. And I'm not saying that's for everybody. Use wisdom in your own case, okay? I make sure with my clients too. We use wisdom in every case. I don't want to see anybody arrested. That's never happened in I don't care what people say. They can say what they want. But that's never happened with what I've been doing for 18 years for others. And I'm cautious. I don't say go run and hide with your child. There's certain things. Just use your brain. Be discerning. Be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Right, like the Bible says. But I did buck the system the whole entire time, and I did get away with a lot. And I say away with. I was doing the right. I was exercising
your rights.
I was exercising my rights, and I was living by my rights. Okay, and I wasn't going to tolerate nonsense. And I did. And I'm talking with one of the most callous, evil, garbage judges that there is, that despises women and children. I was the first mother to get my child back from him, and I got a child back for another mother shortly after that. Okay.
What do you make of female judges who do that?
They're sick too. They're sick
why? Because I've got this female judge in Monterey County. She's not a judge, she's a commissioner. And Commissioner Mendoza, I'll say her name. And she was a traffic court judge, or she still is a traffic court judge, and she's taking away families. Like, she's breaking apart families. And you know what she said to me?
They have mother issues.
Yeah.
They have mother issues.
She goes,
all of them.
She goes, just because you tell a story over and over doesn't make it true. Despite the fact that she never looked at my medical records, despite the fact that I had 20 women show up.
That's why I don't shut up. I would have said, and just because you don't read the facts in front of you doesn't make what you're doing right.
Well, I'm going to show you my ADA denial that she did.
Yeah, you can't deny ADA.
So I'm trying to file an appeal, but
that's why that is the reason I enforce the ADA throughout the entire bill, because it's already federal law.
Yeah.
Okay, so for anybody to argue the ADA, I'll be happy to give you a full lesson so that you're not arguing again. You're not arguing something that protects you. Like for example, if you're not allowed to intimidate me, you're not allowed to retaliate against me, you're not allowed to interrupt or interfere with what I have planned for my client with whatever kind of disability, and you can't do the same to the client. So it does fall under immunity, because what immunity is that you cannot be held liable for acting in that duty and in that role, just like it would be. But a judge, they overstep it. They take it to this level that's completely a violation of all rights. And that's what people are afraid of, and that's why we're stripping that. We want to strip that. When it comes to that, is for example, with the ADA, if you're blind, they take your children. They can't do that. If you have cancer, if you have PTSD, if whatever, they're not allowed to cross on those lines. They can't tell you, here's something. Somebody wheels into a court with their wheelchair. Does a judge say, we're going to have a hearing. We need you to file a motion to bring your wheelchair in. Do they do that? Do they say, okay, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, you can bring your wheelchair in, but we're going to have the wheels removed, or you can only bring your wheelchair this far, and then you have to drag down and find yourself a seat and drag yourself to a seat. They don't do that. But with invisible injury, which is very serious, okay, with invisible injury, whatever it might be, you could articulate perfect, you can have a very high IQ, you can hold down a really great job, whatever it may be, double master's degrees, a bachelor's degree, a doctorate, and you can present really well. And then 3 days later, for 3 days, you're suffering after family court, because this is all trauma, right?
Yeah. I used to throw up and have nightmares for weeks, and
they're fatigued, and all kinds of stuff happens.
My whole body was shaking. It made me look unstable in court, because I'm literally sitting next to the man who used to hold me down and violently rape me and draw blood from me.
Yeah.
And then they're like, he was your husband though. And I'm like, I didn't ask for that. I was like literally in a neck collar and covered in bruises. Yeah. And on the night of the 17th of November. And then on the 19th, he walks in and tries to have sex with me. And I'm like, what are you doing? I was just on hustle. Like, I'm covered. I have a concussion right now. Like, what is happening? And like, that's allowed. I even have it on audio saying, we are not going to be intimate. Don't touch me. Like, and that's not enough. And it's like
for a judge to re-victimize a person in court while you've gone through that, and that's against the ADA as well. Yeah. So this is why. Let me clearly.
She said that my ADA accommodation would cause an undue burden on the court.
No. And see, this is what I fight for. And so a reasonable accommodation doesn't mean what's reasonable for the judge. It's the fact that it's reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's reasonable across the board.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I go in and I fight for those rights for families.
So I had 3 doctors that said making her come in person is dangerous to her health. She
That's why I do virtual
triggers.
court for all my clients. They all get virtual.
And they denied it. So like
you can't deny that either.
So is that like grounds for an appeal?
All of it is. But that's why. So the whole thing comes down to this. Like I said earlier, those are the 3 prongs that have to be in compliance with your court order. Period. Yeah. They're not doing it. They're not following it. Remember when we did the prehistory of family court during the event? I taught about the orphan trains. I taught about Tan, that nurse that was stealing people's children. That's what preceded family court. And then in 1962, they did the Family Court Act, started in New York, spread across the country. All of that was not voted in by the people, and all of that is where it's on this sinking sand, this court system. And then they incorporated this judicial immunity nonsense, which they're violating it, period.
When did judicial immunity become a thing?
Right when they did the whole thing, when they built it right in.
Is that part of, like, AFCC? Do you know the AFCC? Are you tracking that? It's like, I subscribe to their stuff, so I get their stuff, so I know all their members. It's basically a consortium of judges, lawyers, and these custody evaluators who all practice like bad medicine. That's how I knew who my psych evaluator was before I went in, and how I towed the line. Like, the number of unprofessional things that she did, and like, thank goodness I had like a legitimate psychiatric evaluation done by like legitimate professionals, and brain scans, the whole thing, and like IVs placed, like it was.
That was great that you did that though, but it's amazing.
Well, I didn't
lengths that people go to prove themselves.
I literally was like, if there's something wrong with
sad and ridiculous.
I want to know so I can get better. And like, a lot of these women are alcoholics or drug addicts, and they go, well, if you get better, then you can have your kids. I'm like, so women.
But then they give alcoholics and drug addicts children full time.
It doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense. But let's find a bill that's going to save you from all that.
So I just realized that, like, having someone like you, like an ADA in the room, and it even, one of the bills that was mentioned in that article we were just talking about, I think it's a Senate bill. It's about.
Oh, yeah, go back to that, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe it's House Bill. No, it's House Bill. It's the one with Terry LaPointe. HR something. I'll look it up. It's about bringing in advocates and having somebody like to advocate for families. Yeah, and I go, actually, Fran, this is kind of great. They literally just did your work for you, or got you a lot of work because now you can go in. But that's going to be my question. Is like
so that was one of the things in the pretend pseudo article from the fake journalist that basically they said I bounced off that. I didn't even first of all know that.
HR 5647. The
and I support Terry 100%.
Families
100%. But the point was that the only reason why I discussed those dates with the scheduler there was that I needed Terry because she was supposed to be on the expert panel because she wrote the medical kidnap section and I put her name on it as a co-author of the medical as a whole author rather of the medical part because that's what she does. She does medical kidnap. Okay, so that's why. And so what? So if he endorsed her bill, why not endorse this bill?
Well, that's what's so crazy. So that
bill supports me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an advocate. That's what I do for a living for 19 years. It makes no sense. None of this makes sense.
So
I feel like I'm living in crazy land, like Twilight Zone.
Upside down. I always say
it's so insane.
Okay, so HR 5647, Advocates for Families Act of 2025. I hope it passes, and I want to ask you more about this. So this is Rep. Moore from Alabama, which
from Alabama.
Representative Moore, I love that you're sponsoring this bill. If Megan Bramlett had one of these advocates when she was arrested in family court, I don't think she would have been arrested.
Well,
you know why? You know what's terrifying? She was texting people. She goes, I don't know what's going on. They recessed us. We're taking lunch. And then she comes back after lunch.
And she's being arrested.
They didn't let anybody in the courtroom.
It's horrible.
They closed it. She's like, it felt like they were closing the curtains, and then they did it like with no witnesses.
It's horrible.
I want to figure out a way to get media into every court.
Well, first of all, let me explain something. So under 28 CFR 260B, effective communication is one of the powerful federal protections under the ADA. Title II covers courts. We have Title I, Title III. Title II covers courts. That's mainly my specialty. You're legally allowed to record in court. That's another thing they violate every day.
Yeah.
So people don't do it because they don't want to be arrested for something that's, again, we're fighting for rights we already have. The bill is the rights we already have. It holds the DOJ in accountability because the DOJ is the venue.
Yeah.
But they'll say, sorry, try this, try that, try this. Everybody tried everything else before.
Yeah.
You're the venue. So what they're saying, the DOJ, they'll send a canned letter out to everybody. And then they'll say, we just don't have the resources. Really?
Yeah.
Would you like to see their financial resources? Because you wouldn't even believe it. I've got it.
Yeah.
Their financial resources are off the charts. And their financial resources, the Department of Justice, is for the people.
Yeah.
So it's bullcrap. So in the bill, I took 18 years of national work, court-watching judges and families, intricately, in courts across the country. I don't care what stats people say there are. I lived it. Yeah. I live it every day.
Well,
I know what the stats
200 testimonies of people.
And we've got the testimonies now.
Give their testimonies.
And what is the most thing that you saw with these testimonies? What is the most that you could say you saw? You're supposed to be interviewing me, and I'm interviewing you because I'm used to being a host.
Predominantly women, some protective fathers, and usually when there was a protective father, they were protecting from the mother's new partner who was harming their children. Which I was like, hey.
It's funny you're saying that because Dr. Bandy does, and I would like to talk to her about this a little bit, very quite interesting. What I've discovered, no offense to anybody, because I love all people. I love all people. I would never see anybody get hurt, not around me. But what I've seen, and when they talk about the domestic violence against men and women, and they show the statistics, I don't have them in front of me, so I'm not going to say every number. But very important, what it really comes down to is it's men against men, heterosexual, because they get into physical altercations, right? And then in the homosexual community, there's a lot of homosexual men against men. So it's not really women against men. We're not built that way, first of all. Not saying that there's not. I mean, there is a woman with the frying pan, and she'll whack you good.
And my brothers asked me when I got taken to jail. They're like, did you stab him? Did you stab him? And I was like, no, I literally asked him to get out of a bathroom that he trapped me and the kids in after I asked him a dozen times. I asked him a dozen times to leave. He was on the phone with my own brother. He then went and hid weapons in the house. Like, he got in. It's like, You don't get on a raster.
Crazy making.
And then you know what he said in court? When his lawyer, which he admitted to this because he knew I was going to call my own brother to the stand, because my brother's the one who told him to hide the guns. He said, dude, the cops are coming, you better hide your guns. And I was like, dude, August, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. But like we grew up in it, so, you know, that's kind of our whatever. Anyways, he goes to the court and his lawyer goes, and why did you hide the weapons? He goes, well, I was terrified Autumn was going to use them. Bro, I don't know how to use a gun. Second of all, it's unlocked to your fingerprint. I didn't have the keys. Like, come on. But the courts believe it. That's why I say
and did they let you give that piece of evidence that you just said?
Of course not.
It unlocks to your fingerprint? I mean,
no,
you just in 2 seconds I would have known. You just told me I never even heard this before, and instantly I know it unlocks to your fingerprint. So you couldn't do anything anyway.
No.
So that ends the whole argument right there. And did you have a good lawyer? I mean, I said good lawyer.
I was going to say.
I'm just saying.
But if I had had like an advocate, so like there were so many things that happened
if you had an advocate,
in court.
I would have been able to stop so much because I know people don't believe this, but I do talk in court.
Yeah.
And I'm legally allowed to talk in court. I have a separate and distinct role from an attorney, but I put everything in writing. Now, don't get me wrong. There are backwoods courts that don't even let me in the door sometimes. Okay? But once I'm in, okay, they'll tell me what I can and can't do. You can note take. Oh, I can note take. Gee, thank you so much. I can note take. But if my client who needs an ADA advocate and she's not her own ADA advocate, and I see she's in trauma, and I need to get her out of there so she can take a break and I can regroup her. Now she just lost all equal footing in the court because she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
If you did a brain scan of her brain, you'd see what happens to her or him in trauma. Yeah. So now if she doesn't understand what's happening to her because she's spaced, not because there's something wrong with the woman, but she's in trauma.
Yeah.
Okay? You just made her be her own ADA. She's supposed to ask for a break. No, you can't.
Yeah.
If you got hit by a car, you're supposed to ask for an ambulance?
Yeah.
I'm down on the ground. I got hit by a car. An ambulance? No, you're supposed to have somebody come and help you. It's the same thing in court.
My ex-husband's attorney handed me another woman's rape documents of an abuser that she represented. So it was like literally a playbook, and it had her writing on it. So it's like somebody she had defended who did the exact same thing to their spouse that mine had done to me, and it had the woman's name, her children's name, his name. I actually reached out to the woman and I said, hey, this lawyer gave me your confidential stuff and she's a victim of sexual assault. And I just was like, you know, I'm sorry that you were affected by this, but like this is who your ex-husband was represented by. Her name is Brianna Cornwall and she should be sanctioned. She is the worst of the worst because she knowingly represents abusers. How do I know? Because she handed me a piece of paper while I was in court with this person's documentation on it. And I'll show you just so you can see it. Because like when I'm like looking at it and I'm like, what am I? And I'm like, I literally got physically sick and was throwing up, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take a break for her." And I had a support person from the Monterey Rape Crisis Center who was there with me, and she's like, "Put your head between your knees and breathe." Before court, we're coming in. I'm puking in the parking lot. Afterwards, I'm shaking, and all the women are like, "We got this." And like I had said to you, the DA who had like kind of been like, hey, keep an eye out for Monterey County. He's a former DA. He's like, it's corrupt, you know. And he's like, I'm a criminal defense attorney now. Like I know both sides of it. And he didn't say it was corrupt. He said that there are, you know, like people who act in their own best interest, which is kind of code for corrupt. Anyways, and he goes, whenever you see your ex, you have to be strong and you cannot show anything. You got to walk in there, you got to laugh, you got to do like, you got to do.
It's really a shame that people have to act that way.
Gosh, it took every ounce of me to get out of bed, to get up and to go. I would take off work to go, and like, it was just, that was why I finally I had to leave.
Family court is a full career for most people because they can't even go to work anymore. They have to be in family court every other, you know, couple weeks or whatever.
Well, and then people end up in debtor's prison.
Insane.
For not paying their fees. I've had people not pay their fees to these court-appointed evaluators who the court appoints them.
And then you got a whopping fee. You got a whopping. I know it's horrible.
That's how the evaluator in.
There's so many problems, and it's all. Every single one of these problems, everything that you're talking about, the fact that children they'll go to court, these attorneys and guardian litigants, oh, the child's thriving, meanwhile the child's falling apart because the child's not there to defend themselves. All of this, every single bit of it, every problem I've seen over these years, everything, every last thing is in the bill. Yeah. Everything is in the bill. In a small synopsis, when you say they go back to the beginning, like when things like this wrong. They can sue, is what I'm saying. They can sue, and then we can bring, once this bill is passed, this is why, let's face it, guys, it's the bottom line. Let's get to the bottom line. Okay, God told me to bring an army with me. He said to bring the victims. I hate using the word victim, guys, but, lack of a better word, okay? Still, people are still surviving. They're still victims right now. I hate to say it, but it's true.
That's true.
So bring them, and they're going to heal along the way. He forgot to tell me what's going to happen, too, but they're going to heal along the way. But it's giving them a voice, and this is bigger than a grassroots movement. Let's face it. So it's bigger than just the bill. It's the bill and the voice.
Christine.
And what's happening with this voice, okay? This huge voice. What's happening with this voice? It's something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, we have a fight on our hands, though, because unfortunately, and I'm not God, okay? Unfortunately, there is a country, we live in a country where the DOJ is corrupt, where our politicians are corrupt, where our teachers, not all, I mean, obviously there's wonderful teachers, but our public schools have a lot of corruption. I'm not putting down, I love teachers, I have a lot of them in my family. There's police officers that I love, but the police are corrupt. Everything's corrupt. There's corruption everywhere, right? And it's backwards. It's backwards. We the people are the authority, not the other way around. But it's like I said, we can't film in our own Congress houses. Like, we can though, and we can't. We can't film in our own courts. We can though, but we can't. Like all this nonsense.
I didn't know about filming in the court. That's
course.
incredible. I literally had judges tell me to turn off my stuff.
No, and they will, and you better do it just because unless you want to get dragged. And there's people that purposely will do it, and they'll go to jail for it, so they continue to fight for our rights. So be grateful for those people. Don't mock them.
Yeah.
Don't mock them.
Well, now
like Long Island Audit, whatever his name is, Lou, whatever. Maybe I forgot his name. But anyway, like I see people who love him because they have a brain in their head and they know what civics is. They know what.
Yeah.
But then there's others that he's not just. He's literally saying these are our rights, for heaven's sake. These are our rights. It's so important that we fight for our rights because you've got children and children's children and their children, and we have to do it now. We got to get it now.
Yeah.
And so, do you think we're just going to go in and boom, pass a bill? That's just foolishness. Foolishness. We have to continue to fight. We need to stand strong. We need to be leaders in this. We need to be front lines.
Yeah.
We need to, there's so much we need to do. And while we're fighting to pass this bill, and I really hope that this goes live soon.
Yeah.
Okay. This needs to go soon because the people need to hear it and they need to understand. While we're doing this right now, you need to know who you are, and you need to know that we're doing this. It's not just for you or me, or it's for all our neighbors. It's for our whole country. We have a country that's sick. We have children that are sick. And the mental health of this country is just off the charts. Okay? We can prevent that if we would just fight and realize that. Get ahead with these trolls and these fake. I can't even deal with it.
Hey, thank you to the trolls. They told us about his advocacy act that now I can go into
I don't even know about.
I'm going to go into his office tomorrow before I leave DC. I'm going to go in and say, hey, Representative Moore, I wanted to ask you about this act.
Sure you can get in there because.
Oh no, I just go in and I say, hey, can I get a comment on this act? And because it's his, they're going to say, well, here's our press info. And I say, okay, tell him to, on Manelick with the trebuchet podcast.by.
But we want the Family Justice and Accountability Act.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we want the Family Justice and Accountability Act. And that only reason why I'm saying that about forget them is because those of these people that don't understand and they're reading these stupid articles or whatever, these stupid
but if he's
live.
Go ahead.
Well, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying in terms of what we need to be doing as people.
Yeah.
We need to be called. We need to be we outnumber them by you don't even know how many. We outnumber these people by hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Call your Congress members. Tell them you want the Family Justice and Accountability Act. Call them, tell them, if you're a constituent of them, tell them to sponsor the bill. We have to, because this is a radical bill. It's radical. It's radical.
Because they're actually trying to change something.
It's going to stop everything, and it's going to give you back recompense for the damages. Nobody can pay you enough money to have your child taken away from you. There's not enough money in the world, but we have to do this now, because if we don't, the next generation is going to suffer, and the one after that, and the one after that. So we have to do this, and we do have power in numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the stories galore. I mean, I don't think there's not enough people to even get all the stories.
You've seen me. I've been
non-stop
trying to get
non-stop. So don't They tried.
And my team does this for free. I mean, like,
It's
really, like,
mind-blowing.
my producer,
It's
everything.
mind-blowing.
Like, we did
This is
at our
top
own
notch too, and I don't know what I can say, so I'm not going to say it. But there's huge things on the horizon going from all of this.
Well, there's a lot of eyes watching it, and they're kind of like, how serious of an issue is it? And it's, what's really fascinating is when you can take, like, a father like Larry from, you know, Washington State, who's faced homelessness and he's faced CPS and the loss of it, and you have him. And then you have me, a military wife for 17 years, and we're united in something.
I got him on my right, I got you on my left, and we're telling Congress what's
And
going on. We're giving the intel, we're giving the data, we're giving the statistics, we're giving it all, we're presenting it. You need to sponsor the bill. Period.
Because at the end of the day,
any Congress members, whether you're a House representative or a U.S. senator, if you don't sponsor the bill, you don't care about your families. You don't care about your families. You don't care about your constituents. I'm tired of the games. I'm tired of the false allegations. If you're that ignorant that you would believe trolls over what the people are saying, what the people, your own constituents want, and you want to play this like word salad with nonsensical words and who said this, and first of all, I can't even imagine that any Congress member would even say anything like that. Okay, that's so beneath any type of ethics and respect and decency. But if it's true, if it's even remotely true, you don't care about your constituents. You don't care, because you should know better that no matter what happens in this country over throughout history, when something was meant to be done, that was something that brought about good and lasting change, there was always adversity. Always adversity. So that's where you're supposed to be as people, as Congress members who work for us. That's where you should be jumping in with us and not jumping out. Okay?
Well, so I guess this would be...
So you can tell them.
Just hand it up to here. I guess this would be... This is like me when I'm teaching a high school social studies class. I'm like, this is why you guys should care. And they're like, Mrs. Seibel, well, Mrs. Manelick. Mrs. Manelick, you're really hyped up. And I'm like, oh. But, okay, well, I guess now's a good time to announce that...
Are we going to do an interview tonight? I'm kidding. This is great. We mixed it all together. I love it. I love it.
Fun. It's easy. People, and then people get to see more of like the real you, and like see that you can take a joke and see that you can play with it, and then see that.
I worked for the New York Comedy Club for 14 years, so I have to laugh at everything.
You gotta laugh at it. You gotta laugh to keep from crying. That's what I say. When I launched the trebuchet, it was a name that my Special Victims Council gave me. My, sexual victim of sexual assault in the Army's military justice system. And he goes, Autumn, you're like a trebuchet. You just launch rockets. And I was like, what's it? I go, what's a trebuchet? And I told this story a million times. And he goes, well, I don't mean any offense. I go, well, then take it. I don't know what it is. And he goes, it's a medieval siege weapon, right? You load it up with like fire or shit or weapon, like anything. They used to like light, like they put like light it on fire, like cow does, stuff like that. You light it on fire and then you throw it over.
Okay, yes. I just never put it together.
Like literally, just whatever you want. Because the whole purpose of a trebuchet is to launch just chaos into your enemy's public square. And then everybody's looking everywhere. And he goes, you're like a trebuchet, you just launch. I go, yeah, but I launched the truth. And he goes, yeah, but it sends people scattering. I said, well, they responded to an email that you sent 6 months ago. You haven't gotten any emails. Right? And he's like, okay, but then you got to send some snipers in. I said, don't worry, I got snipers coming in the sky. It's like, easy. And I was like, get your...
Oh, God, no, don't...
Not real.
This is not real.
This is metaphorical.
This is metaphorical.
I'm an Army historian. And I kind of... Not like real snipers, but like metaphorical, like, okay, this is how we come in and we execute very quietly after we've caused a lot of chaos. And that's kind of how I see what just happened with the FAA. We have so much conversation. We have and this is what I was hoping would happen. I was hoping there'd be a little controversy. I was hoping that there'd be like,
controversy.
Oh my gosh. And then now we're not sneaking in, we're walking into congressional offices, asking for comment and asking for follow-up. And now they're kind of like, wait, what? And so, like, I went around, I asked all these senators for comment on it, and I'm going to...
I love it. You did so great.
Well, and I've been trying to figure out...
I love working with you.
Thank you. I was like, how am I ever going to be able to platform all these survivors? Because just the testimonials that I have, I mean, you've seen me, I'm still dumping data. I'm like, guys, I'm dumping data. And I had to go buy a secondary 2 terabyte thing just to have it. And the end of that story is, I was like, my trebuchet is going to launch the truth, but what if it gets taken out? Okay, well, we need more trebuchets.
Right. So now you have 51.
Yeah, so we have 51. So if you're, wherever you are, whatever your state is, it is your state at trebpod.com. So TRBPOD.com. So like the trebuchet podcast. So trebpod. And then like it'd be Alaska at trebpod.com, New York at trebpod.com, Ohio at trebpod, And then what we're going to do from there is there will be a main channel where every single video on the Family Justice and Accountability Act testimonial will live nationwide. That way anybody can go and kind of see that this is not a state-specific or county-specific thing. People can see it's external. Because like when I got to Arizona, I thought they had it handled. And I was like, you guys have the family, ad hoc committees. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, you have these because of how bad it is.
Arizona is such a bad state.
But at least I didn't feel alone anymore because I was in California originally. And then I start hearing from people in Texas and like all over. And then I didn't feel so alone. And that's what had happened to me during the military. And that's what's good about it too. It's what it's doing. Yeah, it's like people start reaching out. Positive things. There's so many positive things. So we've got 50 channels. Yeah. So follow your own states, and it's going to be the Trebuchet podcast, and then it will have a state, whatever your state is. DC's in there as well. We have team leads who are going to be seeding these channels. Yeah, and just to kind of like, so they can go in right order. So there's team leads in every state, and we still have a couple states that we're still. Yeah. We've gone into the offices of the other states that we're not getting as many victims, which is but we're locating them, and you can come in and you can still team lead and volunteer because we still have work to do here, and we're in the middle of a government shutdown. So we're doing something very intense here. So just be part of it. How many people are actually at work when there's a shutdown? I'm like, well, everybody's here.
So. And like I said during, I think it was the second day meeting that I had when we were here last week. What was it, last week? Yeah. I said just because people are saying, well, how dare they? They said they spoke with Congress members and there's a government shutdown. But there's still operations. You can't just shut everything down. Like, you can't just shut everything down. Doors are open. We are going in and out, and we're having appointments with Congress members. I mean, it's like it's what we're doing. You have to. And there's some that were still, like Hawaii. There were none of the Congress members in Hawaii. I have very specific cases in Hawaii with specific children, and I wanted to get that presented. I have the cards and I have what I need for them, but
so that's how these channels are going to be built out.
So they're not coming in.
It's going to be the whole. Like nationwide, there's going to be one playlist, the Family Justice Accountability Act. It's going to be all 67 of our testimonials that were brought in, and then the long one, the first 67.
And then the 100 and whatever.
And then after that,
it'll be way over 100.
Oh, of the ones that we have, at least. I mean, at least. Okay. And then there's more coming in. People are like, hey, I didn't get to, or I wasn't ready. And what was so beautiful about having so many survivors here is they can tell I'm just like, I'm a survivor too, so you're not going to say anything that I don't believe or trust. And if I ask you a question, I'm asking because I want to give you, angel's advocate. I want to, exactly. I want to be like, when you can own the worst thing that you've ever done and say like, I did it, and it is. And then they were all coming forward because they all were like, wait, I do want to share and I do want to be heard. So we will have the main channel, and then every county in that state will have a channel. So like Arizona has, 27 counties? Ohio has 88. No, Ohio has 88. Yeah, Iowa has 99.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Florida's going to be crazy, New York, so there are going to be so many.
Yeah. But I know, you just reminded me, this is kind of off topic, but I know I need a new, or maybe I do have I have a new chapter leader. Do I in Georgia? And there were 524 victims of Georgia that someone stole our channel. They stole it. They literally put some graffiti thing on it. So if you're Georgia, you need to come back and find us through the Wednesday night 7:30 Zoom meeting so we can get you into the proper one. I mean, I'm so sorry.
Well, no, and hopefully everybody's like reaching out to people going like, hey, So then we'll do it by county, and what I love about this idea about the counties is we can upload these videos and people can then determine themselves, is there a problem in this state? And you can send it to your representative and say, hey, this is happening nationally, and then this is happening in my county.
Because that's what these videos are for. Yeah. These are calling cards for your representatives, so they will see your 3-minute testimonies. That did not end just because the government shut down and we were stuck in a different room. That did not end. Yeah. So
we've just been working on different ways.
We just had to kind of like we had battles and adversity. We had to find different ways to maneuver around. Yeah. But it's been successful as far as that goes.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many it's so funny. This movement has so many moles and all that, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand it.
It's so ridiculous.
But when I think about it,
frustrating to me.
Well, honestly, everything made sense when I found out about that CPS report that shows the ghost children. Because I go, oh, of course there's people who don't want their supply cut off.
That's right.
And somebody said a drug is something that you can. I actually stopped by the Colorado senator's office today and I said, hey, I'm here to follow up on a child trafficking case that I'm following in your state. And they were like, what? And I said, yeah, your state is a really big hub for child trafficking. Are you aware of like this invisible bridge? And they were like, what? These are their little, their.
Well, they act shocked or they are shocked.
Well, I mean, they were
I kind of wonder.
They were young ones. They were just like, what?
Oh, that's why they have the young ones in the front lines. They do that with every organization. They put the young ones in the front lines. They really are innocent. They really are well-meaning. And then when you get back here, it's like, we know because we're part of it.
Yeah. But those will be the kids, or the young people who are watching it, and they'll be like, whoa. And then they'll have a little bit of influence to say things. So all of these testimonies are going to be collected, and I don't edit them, and I just ask that everybody be truthful and know that if we get a copyright ding or if there is like a vulgar speech or a hate speech or any kind of like infringement, we'll look at that.
You guys will end it out, so too.
And then like, well, as long
you
as
have disclaimers, and we have non-retaliation for your judges too, so you're very safe with that.
Yeah.
Remember, there's a lot of eyes on it, so we're safe.
Yeah, and I've only uploaded about 3 or so a day because I didn't want to flood it and then get the page shut down. That's what's everybody goes, you only have 58 followers. I was like, for some reason nobody's liking and subscribing, and also we keep getting shut down.
Right.
You wouldn't, you wouldn't know.
Now it's moving over to my YouTube channel, so that particular one has 5,000 followers. So
exciting that we've got like collaborations and views, and and then ideally, if these channels ever get monetized, that's why I was saying I don't want to do a 501c3. Oh, good for you.
All my stuff is monetized.
Good for you. So that's like, you need to have income to be able to continue doing this work, and that's why I kept saying to everyone, like,
by the way, I never made a penny off any of it.
But that'll change, and I hope that once we have this up there, we can then use some of those funds to assist with like immediate housing needs and things like that. But like through,
it would be nice to not come out of your own pocket.
Through structure. Like our government is so wealthy. We have so many resources.
It's disgusting.
It is.
It's disgusting. It really is. But
we're going to reappropriate those funds.
Do you know the money that will flow back into society and families once this bill is passed and things start working the way it's supposed to work? I kind of feel like right now with the government shutdown, that it's almost like pulling the plug on a laptop, on a computer, and then rebooting. Like I really feel like there's a lot more to what we're going to see.
I agree,
because I really feel like God is like, I'm so done with all of this. It's time to let's get things the way they're supposed to be.
The way that the economy is, and it's so hard to make a living, and then you're kind of like, and then family court is this succubus. It's like a parasite.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to say it.
Which is so funny. I just got some ivermectin because I had this thing on my face that would not go away. And then while I was here last time, I was thinking, gosh, family court is such a parasite.
It is.
And somebody had said to me, hey, I was like messing with farm animals, and they were like, you should probably put some ivermectin on your face because you probably have parasites. And I was like, nah. I put it on, gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really did have a parasite. And I'm like, this is a parasite, and we just have to cleanse our bodies of it. So,
and I think a whole cleansing, a whole rebooting, a whole everything,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, see, we talk about the truth here. I tell you guys about the parasites on my face, I tell you about farm animals. Fran tells you about the hearings that are coming up, and November 11th is going to be huge.
Dr. Bandy.
Yeah, Dr. Bandy.
We have more appointments when we come back down. So
Yeah, so real things are happening. And hey, nobody's reached out to me for comments, so if you'd like the inside scoop, go ahead and, reach out to the Trebuchet podcast, because we're here, we're recording, and I find
you don't want truth, or you do want truth,
I could very easily be
normal journalists are supposed to investigate, in full investigation. When we did the New York Post, it took a year. It didn't take 5 seconds. It took a whole year to do a formal investigation. So then when they presented the truth, it had to be the truth because they know they could be sued. I don't if the New York Post is afraid of being sued, I don't know how these people think that they're just going to get away with it.
They're going to say the truth is this is the truth as I knew it, and I'm like, but that's not true because you know that I'm here.
Yeah, they don't
you posted a picture of me, so if you're going to post a picture of me, and you know who I am, then why didn't you reach out to me?
Twisting the truth and saying that certain representatives said such and such and such, and putting their faces up as if you got their quotes. And you're like, no, that doesn't work. No. Very foolish, actually. I mean, it's like, did you just want to destroy your career and your life? Because that's what you did.
that's where we're going to leave it for now. I'm sure we'll do another follow-up in November. And thank you so much for coming to the trebuchet. Sorry we didn't do 2, but that was good. I like the way
put it all
we did
together
it.
in one.
Yeah,
So.
and I think I got all the questions.
I got another phone call today. Now I got another meeting.
Oh, that's
right.
That's right.
I got another meeting right now.
11:46. I don't care
people
how late. Okay, what exactly do? You are an ADA advocate. This was one.
Okay.
In all cases you've been involved in family court, have you ever seen it help families?
And it's really sad to say that I've never seen a case, and I've talked about this multiple times throughout the country, I've never seen a case that helped a family.
Yeah.
And now, let me just say, after a child or children have been taken, I've seen the protective parent fight to the end, and then we've been able to get the children back, but the damages are done.
Yeah.
Or stop the child from being taken in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay? Or intercept in courts where now they start so the trajectory of the case starts to go back into the proper place.
Well, we use mine as a case study. You said that there's like an ADA letter that I can submit that says like.
Well, what I do is I do a tailored aid. So, like an attorney does a what is it called now? Because it's very late and I'm tired. But when an attorney is on your case and
like
they're
a substitution.
No. They do a formal. Oh my God.
Affidavit.
No, jeez. That to say that they're on the case now, it's called. People know. I just can't think of it. My brain is fogged out.
My attorneys didn't do this.
No. Attorney is supposed to put a notice of appearance. Okay, every attorney is supposed to put a notice of appearance. I'm the attorney. I'm blah blah. I put a letter that's tailored to the client that states the ADA needs and accommodations or what have you with the federal laws.
Yeah.
So when the attorneys and judge, who's supposed to understand the law, reads it, that's how I get into court and do what I need to do. So I put the laws there, and then I have to go back and forth and argue with the untrained ADA coordinators, ADA compliance people.
Yeah.
Because every court that has 50 or more employees is supposed to have a designated named ADA compliance person so that I can work with them.
Yeah.
Okay? Because again, my client's not supposed to be their own ADA wheelchair. They're not supposed to be their own seeing eye dog. Yeah. They're not supposed to be their own, service dog, whatever the case is. They're supposed to not be their own ADA advocate. I am there. That's what I'm there for. So I put it in writing, and then I have to argue back and forth in emails, reading their responses that are completely wrong, and then I have to show them what the interpretation actually means.
Yeah,
it's a lot, and it's like you're in
an fight to get in a room.
You have to fight to, and that's why I'm saying we need all this enforcement. Yeah. It would make my job a lot easier. So
thank you, Senator Moore, for putting forth your bill, because that's going to get advocates in every single courtroom.
Yeah.
I'll be in your office tomorrow to talk about
it. That has a nice bill that
whose room he did not sponsor, and I'm like
that you didn't sponsor with your name on it. Okay.
I love it that I've been behind the scenes though, and then like all this will come out, down the line, and people are like, "Oh, it's lies," and I'm like, "Give me a second to publish my budget."
The thing that I absolutely adored about Representative Moore, and when I went there, and
I'm going to go in there and ask him about this article specifically.
I think that would be very good.
I'm documenting this.
One of the things that I really liked when I went, there is that he's got a tribute to Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. Okay. Which I'm very much a part of, so I'm one of yours. I'm a sister in Christ.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we be a little more, not just discerning, but a little more welcoming to our brothers and sisters in Christ, because we believe in the same things. So it's just wrong on many levels, which again.
Last question. Sure. How does somebody become an ADA advocate? Because there's only one Amato, so Francesca Amato, without an H.
So originally the spearhead and
without an H.
Without the H. Oh, without the H. Yeah. Francesca. There's no H in my name, and don't call me Fran, you're not my friend. My family doesn't do it. So
wait, should we all be calling you Francesca?
Francesca. You can. You can.
Oh, okay.
You can. I gave a few people. Holly, you can. Okay. But very few. And don't call me Franny. Only my niece can call me that. You do, we're never talking again. But, regarding that. So the spearhead, the GOAT, the most awesome person was Dr. Karen Huffer. Okay. She's the originator of she did so much legwork, this woman. Amazing. Underneath her, there's been multiple people that trained under her, but underneath her was my mentor, who was a part of the education panel, Vicki Gribben. So she's the retired New York City police officer, excellent background, LMSW-R, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Her specialty is in forensic ADA. I trained under her. And then there's another gentleman, he's charged 3 times the amount of money, and he's kind of gone just a little odd with the way, I don't know what's going on.
Which your prices are so reasonable and so fair, and like for the services that you give. I mean,
and it's multifaceted. And there's so much more to it than even people say to you, even if you don't get your children back, God forbid, we fight till we can. Obviously, that's what we want. That's the main goal. They say, like, I wouldn't have been able to stay sane if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, we have what we have. But, I mean, that's a lot, and people need that. So, you know, there's benefits. There's benefits all around with it. Okay, lawyers don't do it for them. They're lucky they get 10 seconds with their lawyer on the way into court.
My lawyer used to call me before my rape crisis
that's appointment.
What they do. He goes, call me afterwards, and I wouldn't call him because I would have just been a rape crisis counseling, and I don't want to talk to my lawyer. You think he would call me and keep me on the phone for an hour talking about it, and then charge me?
That's the last thing you needed or wanted.
You called me. And then he didn't even present it to the court.
See, everything we do is on schedule. It has to be, but what we asked me, so what we do, what I do is I do train people. We have certification classes. That's what we do. I've trained people before. It's like basic ADA. And then obviously you have to get to where I am. It's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of levels, but it's just so you know, like there's just so much with the ADA that there is not actually a technical certification for it, but you can certify people in the amount of hours that they had, how much clinical have they had, meaning how many court appearances have you had. If I have somebody,
or if they're mandated reporters,
like if they have other kinds of background too, it helps to make it speed up a little bit more.
Because
all that
the ADA advocate is doing is
you're
knowing the law, and you're knowing the Constitution, and then when your client is in there, you're going, excuse me, this is not in alignment with
I stopped court before completely. I stopped full trials before. I had to get my mother out of there. She would have died if she didn't.
I mean, I would have died if I didn't have her.
She would have literally died. She was pregnant and her doctor did not want her in trial. And I stopped it. I had no choice. I had to contact higher ups and I got her out of there. It was sick what happened. She finally got full custody of her kids, but it was a torture what they put her through. So we've had very successful cases, more than a lot of attorneys. There's a lot of different things that we've done. Like, I mean, just.
Well, I wonder if, I had a counselor from the Rape Crisis Center, and she came to every single one of my hearings. But the reason why
they can't talk and they can't,
No. But she never got kicked out because my ex, originally I had my best friend there, and he goes, I'm going to call her as a witness. So then that was his strategy. He would get every single person. He got every single person I would bring in.
With an ADA advocate, I don't have the laws in front of me for that, but an ADA advocate can be in court the whole entire time and also be an expert witness as well.
Really?
We're the only ones that have a dual role. We have so much power. That's why I want it. But you have to be ethical about what you do.
Yeah. Well, because of course the abusers are going to infiltrate it and use it. That's why I was asking.
That's why I use the laws against them. I use the law. You got to understand. I've got like pit bull, like New York City law firms that try to come against me, but because I know the law, I respond in the law. I simply respond in the law. You're not a licensed attorney. No, I'm not. I never said I was.
Yeah.
I'm not representing her as an attorney.
What do you say? I'm an ADA advocate.
I'm a forensic ADA expert advocate. That's what I am. It's already in writing. It's already presented
What
to the
makes
court.
it forensic?
Because I understand how to take it and tailor it to everybody's case. I know what laws to put with it. I even know what case law matches it. So that's what makes it forensic.
I think that's what I'm going to get into. I want to see if I can.
It's fun. It's actually fun. It's such a great feeling when you have such because you know the laws and because you're actually educating people, including judges. But it's such a great feeling because it's like, oh my God, a mother or a father can go in there and be like, I have protection.
Yeah.
Oh my God, our laws are great.
Yeah.
Our Constitution is great. Everything is great. They're not following it. So anybody that would attack a bill like this, it just blows my mind to have so many people all these years begging for help.
Yeah.
And now have an answer. You guys got to be supporting this.
Yeah.
Help me do this,
It'll be really interesting to see how these channels develop. And part of the reason why we're going to launch 51 at the same time and then seed it by county is so that we can see which counties are the worst and which, like Vermont.
And I kind of know.
Yeah, and you can see frequent flyers. Yeah. And you can see frequent judges.
Like Florida, loaded.
Yep.
Florida, if it was like we saw all my states and you saw like everything has the Family Justice and Accountability Act logo on it and each state page, Florida would be sinking. It's got so many people, so, and it's a 50-50 state. Okay, the same thing with New York, same thing with California. The 50-50 states have the most bad things happening.
Yeah, because all a man has to do, or a woman, but usually the men are doing this, they're criminalizing or pathologizing the women by claiming domestic violence. There was actually, third-degree perjury is a crime, and in Texas, there was the mother who, the attorneys, one of the attorneys actually just went to jail for third-degree perjury, and he had provoked his wife and filmed her while she was pregnant to trying to take their daughter back, and then have her thrown in jail while she's pregnant. These are the men. Now he's in jail. That's evil. But then he and his business partner,
look at the one
the two
in
attorneys,
Jersey,
are coaching these other men to do this. And I watched
they
the
are
video.
coaching that.
I watched this video.
They're buying them suits when they come out of jail and prison. So they teach them how to present. If a woman doesn't, some women present perfectly fine because they just do, and then after they suffer court.
Yeah.
But some of them are, like you said, they're crying, they're upset. The judges shouldn't be affected by a woman that's responding to abuse. That should not determine your decision on a custody order.
Christine,
if anything, it should be the other way around. You should stop the abuse.
Yes. Christine Miller of the Judgmental podcast, when I interviewed her at the outset of season 2, she goes, anybody who's like presenting as unstable in court is usually the one telling the truth because they're so traumatized by it.
And if you had any training, you would know better.
Yeah, and
if you were trauma informed, you would know better.
Yes.
You would know better. We're supposed to be, these states, we're going to put the purple ribbon and domestic violence awareness. It's only a few day thing where a ribbon is up. Because a ribbon does no good if you're not doing anything effectual for it.
No.
So you care about women. In New York State, you care so much about women, but you don't. They're trampled on all over the place. Big time. Like, it's crazy. But
I'd be really interested to see how these channels go, and then if at some point an education aspect comes into it.
That's part of the bill too, by the way. It's part of the bill too. There's so much in that bill. By whatever damages they cause, there's college restoration, there's all kinds of great stuff. Counseling restoration by your choice. We can't pick them. There's judges that are going to be held accountable. Random drug testing for judges, because they shouldn't be on the drugs that they're on and making decisions for families. Random cohesive mental health examinations that are random.
Wait a second.
They need mental health exams. They need them. You want a mentally ill judge making decisions? Or
when I was at the Orange County protest, where said
when you say Orange County, you're about California.
Orange County, California, where said reporter was and like saw that I was there and talked to my producer but didn't come say hello to me, and I was like, this is weird. But I was being intentionally provocative and I was screaming, psych evals, free psych evals for all women, only the female judges, only the female lawyers. And people are like, what? And I'm like, women are walking out. I was like, are you a lawyer? Are you a judge? Do you work in the court? You're a female. We're getting free evals, but only for the women.
Only for the women.
And the men were walking by. I was like, hey, do you have any crazy women that work in your office?
It's a perfect picture to show what they're doing.
I said, what about any of these crazy female judges? Let's psych test them. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, what about the men? I go, we're not doing you guys. And then somebody comes back because he couldn't tell that I was being provocative intentionally. He comes back, he's like, you're not really sure about this. I was like, well, what am I? And he goes, well, what would you even do with those psych tests? I was like, I don't know, just like
show what's judging you. That's what I would do.
I don't know.
I would show what's judging you. Let's put them in a gold frame and show what's judging you.
Exactly.
I mean, look at the ones that are. Look at the CPS workers.
With wallpaper in their bench.
Look at the CPS workers that are out partying, doing drugs, doing all this stuff. But they're going to tell you how to raise your children when you know how to raise your children.
Who don't have actual licenses, who are getting children to actual pedophiles. That happened in Orange County.
But come on, we need you to help us get this bill done, okay? Like bottom line. I do have another appointment I got to get to.
Okay.
I got to save some time in my life.
All right. Well, with that, we will be papering this place with my psyche dolls, because that's what I said I'm going to spend my $30,000 on, or frame it in my toilet. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We're going to try to get this live, and reach out to us at yourstateattrebpod.com if you've got a story or a testimonial that you'd like to share, good, bad, or ugly. We want to hear it all, and we don't silence, and we don't, we don't adjudicate. We're just here to get these testimonies out. So thank you so much for joining us.
Remember, God is good, no matter what.
God is good, always. Always and always.
Always and always.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. That was fun, right? Not hard.
Very good.
And that was one